it's the thing that surprised me most about Martha's Vineyard, and it's all of the engagement opportunities happening not only with independent schools, but also with companies, with nonprofits. There's multiple conferences happening, and so many of them are through the Black lens.
This is Articulating,
An independent school podcast. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 5th season of Articulating. Thank you so much for riding with us, and thanks for joining us today. This past August, Gina and I were on Martha's Vineyard to celebrate the 15th anniversary of our parent organization, RIISE. We were also on the Vineyard because a number of RIISE's school partners were there hosting parent engagement events. Multiple schools, various activities. There were even corporate partners involved. The entire experience was eye-opening for me. So literally, I turned to Gina, I whipped out my iPhone, and I was like, we are recording this impromptu episode. Thanks for listening. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and enjoy. Gina Parker Collins.
Yes. Sam
Cheers.
Osborne.
Yay.
Cheers.
This is our first in-person Articulating an Independent School podcast interview. And where are we having it, Gina?
We are specifically at the Harborview on the porch on Martha's Vineyard, not in Martha's Vineyard, on Martha's Vineyard, celebrating RIISE, continuing the legacy in independent school education and celebrating 15 years.
This is so exciting. Happy anniversary, Gina.
Thank you so much.
What does 15 years feel like?
Just yesterday. 15 years of RIISE is my 15-year-old child. Right, I have a 23-year-old, I have a soon to be 21-year-old, and RIISE came in, not long after that, their experience in independent schools. And so it's the sibling that just keeps on giving in this independent school environment, which is so dynamic and transformative.
Absolutely. So everybody, I don't know if you've ever been to Martha's Vineyard before. This is my first time. I've had my ideas of it. And so as an outsider Black person, this space to me is, I think the word I would describe it is bougie, if I'm being quite honest with you. And so in some ways, the experience has definitely validated that outside thinking, but in other ways, oh my gosh, there's so many layers to this space. In just the few days that I've been here, Gina, I have met some of the most fabulous people. We're all in such a good mood. It's such a good vibe out here. And so Gina has a stronger relationship with this space. Do you want to give some background to?
Listen, I got to get back to the bougie piece because
nothing wrong with bougie.
Well, it's beautiful bougie, but it's bougie, it's blessed bougie.
Yes.
And it is affirming bougie. Everyone says hello. Everyone is engaging in conversation. Everyone is a cousin out here. This diaspora, that connection of the diaspora that we have,
yes,
comes together right here on Martha's Vineyard. And so I've had, like many folks on the island, you can be, your first year, or you could be your year, but it welcomes you, it hugs you.
It does.
So I started coming as a kid with my parents, and my parents split up, and some time went on, and by the time I had children and my brother had children, we started to resume coming to this island, and it has just been magical. It continues to hug you. We have to recognize that we are on indigenous land. Noepe is the other name. It is the original name for Martha's Vineyard. And so we have that here. We have, this lush, diverse landscape, a lot of deciduous areas, but also the ocean and ponds and coves and good food.
You got to come out here, everybody. Get your coins together. So yes, okay. I know bougie has a negative connotation, but to Gina's point, you elevate here and you belong and wherever you go there's going to be family, there's going to be
Here's
people.
to bougie.
Here's to bougie. Nothing wrong with being bougie. When you be bougie responsibly, that's all we ask. The reason I wanted to get on camera with Gina was because there is an element of Martha's Vineyard happening this week that I was most, it's the thing that surprised me most about Martha's Vineyard. And it's all of the engagement opportunities happening not only with independent schools, but also with companies, with nonprofits. There's multiple conferences happening, and so many of them are through the Black lens. And let's pause there with independent schools. Tell me what's been going on Martha's Vineyard with engagement, like family engagement, with independent schools.
So RIISE started having events on the vineyard about 10 years ago. So there's always been, I'm not sure that I recognized another event prior to that. That did not mean that there were not tons of families on island that have independent school
Yeah.
legacy. We were here anyway. And our level of work and involvement in independent schools, we just decided we need to have a space out here for families to connect.
And you know what? So that's a very good point. I don't know the origins of family engagement and independent school out here, but multiple people have said that it was RIISE. And to me, that makes sense because when I do think of you, Gina, I do think of Martha's Vineyard and I do think of, uplifting families in the independent school space. So I think I firmly believe you started it. And I think that was a brilliant idea. Like, how did you come up with that?
Again, it's RISE was in my life, and so was Martha's Vineyard, and it just made sense that we would converge here to talk about how we navigate these spaces, how we take hold of that sense of belonging, how we take that same energy that we have here on Martha's Vineyard, and we bring that right back
Yeah.
to our independent schools. This notion of blackness is so appealing here on the island, and I want that same energy and level of confidence, level of agency to happen in our independent schools. And it is. So this is a compliment to it, right? This
Yeah.
is a space for us to be unapologetically who we are. And we want to bring that same bend to
Yeah.
independent schools.
So now, okay, that was 10 years ago. Fast forward to today, and I had the pleasure of attending a couple independent school engagement events on the vineyard. I was really surprised by it. Let's lay out for people that haven't been here, like what exactly has been going on. Like, what does it look like today to engage Black families on the vineyard?
Um, it looks like it did 10 years ago. It really is about sharing the venue that you're going to be at, letting people know on the mainland, if you're going to be traveling to Martha's Vineyard,
Yeah.
come and do that. We've been hosting our events. Initially it was in Katama at a home, but we have moved to the Edgartown Public Library, and that is where we hosted our recruitment salon discussion. And then the following day, we had more of a enrollment island discussion, and those were both held at the library.
Yeah.
And then we moved on to Rosewater for our 15-year celebration of RISE. And then some of our other schools have had things on Circuit Avenue. I mean, there's a lot of families on island who, again, attend independent schools, but then there are quite a few who don't. So there's just different ways to capture both audiences.
That was super mind blowing to me. Circuit Avenue, a whole bunch of shops.
In Oak Bluffs.
In Oak Bluffs, yes, or OB as
OB.
now I'm going to call it OB. Literally shops, restaurants lending their spaces or renting their spaces to have these engagement events, and then families come. And what is the objective of doing it? Like to introduce families to.
It's a combination, Sam. It's both.
Okay.
It's a combination of introducing families. There are, new families, young families on this island. We spoke with a Dr. Wallace, who was at our recruitment salon, and he said, my whole concept of independent school education has changed. I understand that you can
Yeah.
thrive in community. And he doesn't even have children yet, but he's planning on having children, right? So it
Okay,
can
where he
start
at?
a lot earlier. And again, we had alumni. We had alumni that came back to pass the torch on to newly enrolled families or families who are thinking about it, to talk about their lived experiences in independent schools and the tips on how to navigate this space. You know, confidence kept coming up, and that was passed on. That torch of confidence was passed on from parent to student,
So,
right? So parent engagement is extremely important. And
yeah.
when you think about the Vineyard, it's the parents that get the kids out here anyway.
It is the parents that get the kids out here. There's certainly, I mean, coming out here, you need coins, right? Like it's an investment to even, take the ferry here. So I'm trying to understand why these engagement events have to happen out here. Versus the mainland versus the cities. So what do you think it is about here that's appealing? Because it's not just independent schools, like I said. Companies are coming out here to recruit folks.
Right. We're
There's
working
all
with
these
TD Securities in
conferences.
a moment, right?
TD Securities partnering with RIISE, yes. And so, what exactly is it about here?
It's the mass, it's the pure number
Okay.
of Black families that are out here, that companies, corporations, not for profits, independent schools, the Divine Nines.
It's a lot of Divine Nine.
Yeah, I mean, everybody comes out here for this is the Black experience.
Yeah.
This is the Black experience.
Okay, that begs the question to me. This is a vacation spot, but a lot of business is being conducted. Like I'm literally behind this camera is a step and repeat for some other conference that just started in sustainability. It makes me wonder, does this perhaps it's a place for vacation, and
Oh,
now
yeah, it's balance.
you think it's a balance, but like there's like so much business happening,
Yeah.
and I'm hearing so many people, families, saying maybe we'll get to go to the beach on Sunday because there are so many like engagement events, and you have to make them or
Right.
else.
Well, here's the thing, because of the level of investment that you're making to get out here,
Yeah.
whether you own a home out here or you're renting, whether you fly in, whether you wash ashore on the ship, from my perspective, it is extremely important that I get a certain amount of balance out here. So I
Yeah.
don't need to be at every event that's going on this island. And there are a
Yeah.
lot of fun events. There's a lot of networking, but there's also networking with me on South Beach or at Lambert's Cove or traveling up to Aquina or walking.
Right. It is beneficial for your families if you are engaging independent school. It's certainly beneficial if you have a teen looking for internships or anything like that or employment. Hearing a lot about that and recruiting from
Absolutely.
that standpoint. So definitely, if you're going to Martha's Vineyard, maybe like have a plan. I do
In
wonder
August, that's when that
in
planning happens.
August.
But
That's
come in July and June too. You know, we're looking at the Brown Butter Collective, bringing
yeah.
that space out here. There are a lot of Black girls out here that are part of, family organizations. There's the white parties, you name it. They're here gathering. But we do want to hold some space for our girls like we do during the year. And
Yeah.
have some really great activities for them and some fun swag. So that's the plan for next year.
That's the plan for next year. That's going to be amazing, Gina,
Yeah.
because I think what I'm seeing a lot of is yes, there's a lot of opportunity for co-ed hangs. You go to the beach and everything, but I don't know if there is a structure for just girls. At your anniversary party, there were two high schoolers on their way to college,
Yeah.
and wouldn't it be so beautiful if next year you have your brown butter collective and there's some kind of send off, just letting them know there's a sisterhood
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
can rely
A
on, that
universal one. Yeah.
make that happen, please. I do have a question, like, so we went to a club thing. Are we allowed to talk about that? We like to have fun.
Oh yeah, we got some.
We,
We got a
we
little
be
bit of clubbing
clubbing.
in.
And I don't know about you, like something about Martha's Vineyard, like I wasn't they were playing music I would normally dance to, but I do wonder if maybe like the vibe was a little too buttoned up. What did you think? Like, I couldn't, it
Not at
doesn't,
all party. Well, all you got to do is look on Instagram and TikTok. There's a lot of
really?
unbuttoned up partying, like some real partying. Oh yeah, no, that
Gina didn't take me
no, we
there.
didn't. We didn't go there. I mean, we can't do everything.
It was a very, like, whenever we did do the turn ups, it was like with business card type people, like
Yeah.
exchanging LinkedIn. So you need to take me to the turn up. Okay.
Next year.
Next year. Yeah. So what do you think? Do you feel like Martha's Vineyard and like the independent school scene, do you see it going in a direction, or do you feel hopeful? Like, how do you feel about the
Oh,
future?
extremely hopeful. Like, it was clear that the legacy in independent school education continues here on island. Uh, I would say at least 50 to 60% of the kids that are on island are enrolled in independent schools.
Yeah.
So, we speak the same language. We're speaking the same language. And every year, what I love about this space, and you might say it's bougie, but it's unpretentious. This will always continue to be a place of solace, refuge, celebration, relaxation. So it's going in the right direction. It's headed in the right direction. And that's
Yeah.
forward with an empowered future around recruitment, whether it's for a corporate gig or an independent school education, as well as enrollment and just how do we maintain balance? And I think you can find that out here. And that's why people continue to come. We
That is
take
why
that trek
people.
out here because it's all love.
So for folks that may feel like that space might not be accessible, like, oh, I would love for my son, my daughter to be able to engage a school out here. I'd love to be able to experience the magic that is South Beach or the Inkwell. But they feel a barrier. They feel like that's not a space for them. What would you say to those folks? Like the best ways? Like, is it for every BIPOC family? Like, how, and if it is, like, how can you access it?
Listen, there's levels, as you say, to this Martha's Vineyard experience. You don't have to spend a whole heck of a lot of money. You can be out here on a budget. You can be bougie on a budget. But I think it's just this island will call to you. And once you come, are you coming back next year?
100%.
See, that's what happens. That's what happens.
Yeah.
You can't help it. This island hugs you, it nurtures you. And you find again, there's this sense of freedom that you have as a Black person on this island. You feel free. Your children feel free to just be who they are and to do that in community with others. So please come investigate Martha's Vineyard. It is a happy place. That is one word, two words that you will hear repeatedly. This is my happy place. I hope it's your happy place now too.
It's officially my happy place. I truly do not want to leave, but I need to leave.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna find out how to come back out here. Yeah, I gotta
There's a
figure
lot
that
of
out.
combining of efforts too. You rent a house, maybe you have 3 families, 4 families. I even see independent school kids who are here, not with their own family, but with their friends' families, right? So again, there are a
Yeah.
lot of family organizations out here. So kids make it out. They make it out.
Honestly, truly, families, not if you have the means to go and you know there's somebody in your independent school network where you're like, you know what, that kid needs to be able to let their hair down and come out here.
Yeah.
If you got space in your SUV, adopt them just
Yes.
for a
Yeah,
weekend
absolutely.
or
I
something.
see it. I saw an independent school girl the other day, and I said, "Where's your mama?" And she's like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
she's not here. But she's not this year, but she's with her friend's family. So
Adopt
absolutely.
the kids your kids are friends with, because truly, I mean, when I was coming up, I mean, I didn't know much about Martha's Vineyard, but I certainly knew a lot about the Hamptons. And so that was like my happy place over the summers. Did I
Now, if you
have
want to talk about
anything?
bougie, let's just talk about the Hamptons because that's the
And
difference.
when I was exposed, being young and exposed to the Hamptons was because families would literally like adopt me for a week, 2 weeks. And that was such a beautiful experience. I think as parents, which I am not, I don't know why I gestured to myself, but you want to show your kids the world. This is news to me that you go to a place known for vacation as an independent school and you are engaging and you are possibly recruiting.
Well,
So
yeah,
this
I
is
think you know you got to go. You have to go to the community, and
yeah.
that is what these companies and these schools, even on the college level, go to where we are. Come to
Wow.
us, and that is what we're seeing here on the island. We are valuable, and we will spend on things that are important to us. We will make that investment in the independent school education because we value education. We will make that investment in having our children sit in on a conference so that they can learn more about pipeline recruitment into major
Yeah.
companies like, a TD, so that they can get a summer internship. The African American Film Festival. I mean, people are coming here watching amazing films. So you have all walks of life.
So we are going into our 5th year of doing
Yep.
articulating, and I think it is so beautiful. We are kicking off our 5th season like this together. We have had, I don't know about you, but the last couple of days have been absolutely magical, and I think our relationship, our friendship, has taken on a completely new layer where, to me, you're the sister in my head, but I truly feel like we're officially
Yeah.
family.
We're summer sisters too now.
Summer sisters, yes. Gina, I just want to say happy anniversary,
Thank
happy 15 years.
you. Thank you. And
Thank
thank you,
you all.
Sam. And
Oh, yeah.
yes, for being an amazing summer sister. Now it's official,
Yes.
we're summer sisters, but an amazing co host. Thank you for bringing Rise would not exist without Sam. Okay. Sam said that
Articulating
articulating
would
would
not
not
exist
exist. Thank
without,
you.
not
Right.
Rise. I wasn't around at the beginning of Rise.
Almost.
Almost, almost. But yeah,
However, she said
you
that
made it
Rise needed
happen.
a sibling, and articulating podcasts and independent school podcasts was born. So I thank you for your vision.
Everybody, I don't know what the future holds for articulating. I'd love it to continue as long as possible, as long as families need articulating
And schools,
and
another
and
state, and
schools.
state. We have a lot of
Because when
different
I tell you,
stakeholders.
schools benefit so much from articulating. Truly,
Yeah.
that
We
is
lift
what
the
we have
veil on
told.
what independent school education is like from a variety of different voices.
Yes.
Students, parents, educators, heads of school.
I just pray that if you are listening, if you are watching, I don't have a call to action. I'm going to come up with one, but I just really, really pray and hope that you continue supporting and you continue listening because it is such a joy to provide this.
We thank you for loving the podcast and following and supporting. Cheers. Here's to Martha.
So,
And
Martha.
articulating and Rise. Thank you. If you enjoyed listening to this discussion, please pass it on to a friend. And don't forget to hit subscribe and follow us on Instagram at our parent organization at 4RIISE. That's the number 4, RIISE. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.